Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Welcome to the other background. I am home for just today. Actually, I was home all weekend. And now I return to San Diego to get Dad squared away, hopefully. Ring. So anyways, yesterday, Sibling and I were talking, and I asked her, I said, hey, what do you think I should do for my show tomorrow? Because, I won't have a show tomorrow because my dad has a doctor's appointment at 8:30. So, sorry, I just realized I'm all tangled here. So anyways, we'll make it a good one today. So, good morning, older sibling. Oh, anyways, my eyes are going nuts. So yeah, I asked her yesterday, what should we talk about? She's all, talk about cats. Because of course, this is a cat home. We love dogs, but currently it is all cats, but all two of them anyway. I kept hoping Pixel would make a surprise appearance, but she's stubborn. So I thought, well, how am I going to do that? So I pulled the spirit animals, and I pulled the spirit animal book, and in here is cats. Okay, cats. So we're going to go with cats. And this is what you can think of when you see cats, all right? And I know not everybody loves cats, and they think they're kind of snobby, or they're rather prissy, or they just, lose their shit. I'm going to explain a few of those things before we get into it. So a lot of people don't know this, all right? But unlike dogs, cats, well, and maybe dogs do, but I don't know that much about dogs, and they never seem to. But cats can be overstimulated very quickly. So if you're petting them or you're being kind of rough with them, and not intentionally rough, just kind of like trying to play with them and just be like you would with a dog, they are going to get overstimulated, and they're going to hiss and they're going to bite. Okay, but they're not going to bite hard. They're going to bite to warn you. And if you don't stop, then they're going to bite hard. All right. So I learned this because I was like, we had another cat, Kisses, who has since passed away. She was, God, I think she was about 15, but she used to love my feet. I don't know what it was about feet, but she loved my feet, and she loved my mom. My mom was the only person that Kisses would climb onto. I mean, even as a kitten, yes. As an adult cat, yeah, she just loved my mother. But she, I would pet her. And so then because she loved my feet, I would pet her with my feet. And then every so often she would just nip at my toes. And I'm like, I don't want to pet her with my feet anymore because she nips at me. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to Google this. And it turns out that, yeah, she was being overstimulated, and she says, thanks, but I'm done. And, they can't sit there and look at you and go, okay, I'm done being petted. So they're going to nip at you. And once I found that out, we kind of found our happy balance, and, she got the feed, and I got to pet her, and everybody was happy. And so, that was one of the things that I learned, that, they don't teach you this in cat parent school, right? Because, we tend to treat dogs and cats the same, but they're different, just like humans are different, right? No two humans are really alike. And good morning, Muddy. So yeah, no two humans are truly, truly alike. They may look alike, they may think alike, they may act alike, but there are different nuances to them that are very different. And that's when, like with cats, they're different from dogs. Like dogs, you can roughhouse with them. You can, pull their little chewy toy, and, they're just going to be like, I'm going to hang on for dear life, no matter how high you raise me off the floor. But cats are a little bit different. Now, I don't think they're snobby. They just know what they want. Cats are, there's a reason the Egyptians revered them in the way back days. And also, in the metaphysical sense, cats are thought to be protectors. And, so like, if you think you have those little bumps in the night, and I say it like this because I do believe in ghosts. This is a very active house. And it's mostly people that have passed on in our lives that we know, that come in to visit and just kind of say, hey, but, yeah, in the metaphysical sense, this is a very busy house. My dad's house has a little bit of activity, but not a lot, but nothing scary. And, maybe we should talk about that on the next show, because with all the movies that come out and all the stuff, there's a lot of people that just be like, oh my God, a ghost scare the hell out of me. And a lot of times they'll make noise because they just want to get your attention and say, hey, I'm here. I'm here, and please don't be afraid, or a spirit guide. I'm looking after you. So I know this feels like it's a bit of a metaphysical show, but I really want you to hang in there despite the different, branches that we're going off of, because we can always learn when we open our minds to, more than just what we think. We can learn a lot. And I've had to do that because ghosts used to scare the shit out of me. I used to have one in my room who was a famous musician and would whistle in my room. And I was just like, I can't handle this anymore. And now I'm sad because I scared him away. And it's like, damn. It's like, please come back. Please come back. But because I didn't understand back then. And even Sibling had her own encounter when she was a child. And so, yeah, you know what? Let's save that. All right. We should have made that a Halloween episode. Yeah. Oh, I didn't do a show on Friday, but still on that Halloween Friday, but still, it doesn't matter. Today, it's about cats. And I think one of the reasons Sibling wanted to was because she sent me a video. So this was a special request. And you guys, if you have special requests about what you want me to talk about, just let me know. I'm happy to do it. Aww.
Special appearance.
Okay, special delivery. Come here, baby girl. Thank you. Oh, she's like, really? This is my baby. Hi. She's like, why? Oh, we're talking about you today. I know. All right. I know. Anyways. Thank you, Sibling. But, well, there you go. That was Pixel. That's my baby. That's my baby. But anyways, all right, we'll talk about cats. So, oh, that's it. That's what I was going to say. One of the things that Sibling sent me the other day, because, even though I've been at my dad's, we communicate almost every day. If we're not texting, we do talk. But it was just cats saving their humans. One saved, there were a couple shots of home videos of, like the security cameras of the cats chasing away snakes that just kind of popped out. And, the snakes are scared, right? Because they're burrowed and they're just like, ha, we're in attack mode because here comes a hole coming at my head. And the cat scared it away. And in a sense, if you think about it, the cat kind of did a service to the snake too, right? Because if that human would have found it, ka-chop, out of fear. And so this, the snake gets away. The cat's like, oh God, my job is never done here, is it? Something was flying at a baby and the cat just went, nope. And then there was a dog barking at, a dog got away from its person and just started barking at the baby and, just kind of growling and barking and everything. And then the cat stepped in and is like, I don't think so. Cat saved a baby from falling down the stairs. I got a lot of thoughts on that one. Like, seriously, I got a lot of thoughts. It was a home video camera, and I get it. I've never been a parent, and babies are shifty, and I mean that in the way that, they're curious. They're shifty because they're always everywhere. They move, right? They're like vampires. They move fast. They're just like, whoa. It's like, wait, how'd you end up over there? So, but this one baby, poor thing, tumbled down the stairs, and the cat just ran up and stopped it. And of course, the poor mom is like, oh my God, and I'm thinking, put up baby fences, put up baby gates. And sometimes you just think that, your baby's not going to do anything wild. But I managed to get out of the house when I was a little kid. And to this day, my dad doesn't understand how it happened because the chain was on, everything was on. And somehow I managed to get it all off. But fortunately, I ended up at the neighbor's house, and I felt bad. He still feels bad to this day, and I'm just like, we're shifty. We're shifty little creatures when we're babies. So, cats are very protective. And, what I was talking about with the metaphysical thing, one of the reasons I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I know that they were revered in Egypt as being kind of protectors, but also in homes. They are thought to protect homes from bad, evil spirits. So you can take that as you want, but, it's up to you. So, like I said, I know what I believe. I'm not going to force you to believe anything. If you want to be skeptical, that's fine. That's great. It's good to have a healthy skepticism. I've always kind of believed on the sense, but was afraid. And then my thing was I suddenly came into it and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. And so, and yeah, there are some bad things out there. So, you just got to kind of discern. But I'm not here to convince you to believe anything. I'm just here to share what I know and to kind of share the history of what cats can do and why they're so amazing. So in the spirit animal book, the little book of spirit animals, cats are, its element is earth. Its primary colors are black, brown, gray, orange, white, various mixed colors and patterns, as you saw. Pixel is a diluted calico. A diluted calico, which means, like, how you have the calicos that just have the patches and stuff. She is what they call a diluted one, and she is, it almost looks like she's a watercolor of a calico cat. And then George, which you did not see, is a tuxedo, and he's black and white. So cat symbolizes harmony, timing, and exploration of the unknown. When cat appears, it means you need to be patient, stay quiet, and just observe what is happening around you. Timing is important to cat. It will wait until just the right time to attack. Oh, okay. Well, sibling is busy this morning, and now she's about to hand me the cat that does not like being held. Hi, baby. Hi. Come here. Come here.
Depends on the time.
I know. Come here. This is Georgie. And Georgie is special, extra special, because Georgie is a Capricorn. Wow! Just like Mom. Well, other Mom. That's his mom. He loves her more than me. And Pixel loves us equally. Although George does love to perch. He's like a parrot. He's like a little kitty parrot.
Oh, and now look who's up behind me.
Aww. Okay, well, that was fast. But anyways, that was George. George will be 16 on January 1st. He's a New Year's kitty. So, yeah, he'll be 16 and he'll be able to drive. So he can drive his mother everywhere. So, yeah, older sibling, thank you for the cat parade. It's a good thing we only have 2. Anyways, okay, so here's the other thing I wanted to mention about cats. So cats randomly appear sometimes too, right? When older sibling and I were visiting our aunt in Colorado, I love to explore. So I'm like, oh, what's this little town down there? So he's like, I don't know, let's go look. So we pull off the road, we backtrack, we pull off the road, and we go driving through this town. And then all of a sudden, as we're coming out of the town, there's this tiny little community looking thing, and it kind of looks like a literal ghost town, right? But we're sitting there and all of a sudden it's like we had to stop because right in the middle of the street was a black cat. And this black cat is just looking at us. And we had the windows up because, it's Colorado. It's a bit chilly in September, late September. And all I can see is this, like, so it's meowing. But it's like, what do you have to say? What are you saying to us, sweetheart? What do you want? What do you want us to know? And, the one thing I hate is that people associate black cats with so many different things. Black cats are amazing, okay? They are just cats who are black. That's it. They have a black coating, black fur, their eyes, oh my God, their faces. All their faces are really cute, but just their faces are just like, like they're silently judging you. I think that's all cats. But yeah, I'm just like, what do you think? So later when we got back to the hotel, it's kind of like, okay, let's Google black cats and see. And it was just talking about, like the importance of reflection. And that's George. Can you hear him? That's George. I know, I hear you. Meow. Now you know why I said let's meow on the thing. So anyways, let's keep going. Timing is important to cat. It will wait until just the right time to attack its prey or make a move. This means to wait before taking action to ensure you're in the best possible position to obtain your goal. You're an excellent communicator who is independent and likes time alone, but who is also comfortable being part of a group. You enjoy being outside in the sun, but usually work best at night. Cat means you need to be more flexible and harmonious in your relationships with others. Sometimes you can be too unpredictable, only heeding your own instincts without regard to others. While you'll always land on your feet, others around you may not and will need your assistance to get back on track. Cat assists when you need to find what is hidden in the dark. Cats are mystical creatures that can see in the dark and will enlighten you on the path of self-discovery. So there you go. Sammy says, Muddy says, George wants to do the Aloha Perspective. He has things to say. He does. He would make a great co-host because he's very chatty. He's very chatty. He got his little echolocator, like, where are you in the house? Where are you in the house? But yeah. Good old George. Just as talkative. Typical Capricorn, right? Very, very talkative. But I like this for Cat. I really like this for Cat because it's true. But, you know, it is about patience. Everything's about patience. And, you know, if a cat doesn't like you, sometimes it's just how they are. You know, we've been lucky that the cats will at least let us pet them. Not all of them have been lap cats. Some of them, they just have their own personalities. And like I said, like with Kisses, Kisses was the alpha. Yeah, I know. With a name like Kisses, you would think that she was the submissive, but Kisses was our alpha cat in this house at the Canterbury Tales. And that would be Tails. That's right. Because I'm clever and I love puns. But I did, and just to note, yes, I did read Chaucer's Canterbury Tales when I was in high school. So there you go. But yeah, no, it just fit because that's the name of the street, right? So they're the Canterbury Tales. But yeah, Kisses only really loved my mom. You know, and then we had a sibling had another cat, Tipper, before we moved here and before I met her. And Tipper loved Sissy Joe. Like she, you know, like they'll all lay on your legs because they want to stay warm and it's kind of safe and cozy because, you know, they kind of plop on your legs and then they fall in between, right? So it's almost like being in a box and they're safe. They feel safe. They feel comfortable. They feel like, okay, I'm protected here. But Tipper loved Sissy Joe. Every time she came over, and Sissy Joe would be like, it's just my blanket. And it's like, you have a different blanket. And she would still sit with her. So they were like kindred spirits as well. So that was always nice that they were just, you know, plopped together. But, and then my very first cat, Riley. Riley, definitely a lap cat, did not like to be held. But she loved to lay on the laps. Oh God, she was my very first real pet, really, outside of a fish and the hamster and the rabbit that disappeared magically when I was a child, like very young and stupid and didn't know how to take care of things. But they did not die. They just got rehomed. So anyways, but yeah, Riley was my first, and yeah, that was my baby. She was my very first baby, and she was sweet. Loved to wake you up in the middle of the night and sneeze in your face. Yeah, that was gross. But, and I mean, when I say sneeze, I mean snot sneeze. So, thanks, cat. But anyways, and then there was Lucas. So Lucas was a gift to older sibling from my parents. They gave her the adoption money and said, okay, here, you know, like, we'll pay for the next cat that you want. Cause she had tragically lost, we lost one in kittenhood. So, and it devastated her. So, but we found Lucas, and Lucas didn't stay long. So on that note, just really quick before I start talking about him, always make sure that your pets are checked. Okay. Because Lucas had an undiagnosed congenital heart defect, and we only had him for 5 years, but they were 5 magical years because this cat, I literally spent about 10 minutes trying to get the best picture of this cat. And finally I just laid on the floor, put him in front of him, and then and he stayed, and then all I would say to him, I'm like, okay, we're done. And he just got up and walked away. But we got the best picture of him, and sibling still has it as on her phone. But yeah, and he was I don't know what, I think he was a tuxedo rag doll or something. Sibling was trying to tell me, but you would pick him up and he would just go limp, and you could carry him for like forever, like even like a baby. Like he just loved being held like a baby. Like he'd just be like, yeah, I'm, you know. But yeah. So anyways, she named him Lucas. Which was weird because that's my last name. Was kind of like, she said it was Christmas, and when she was trying to wrap packages, actually it was not. It was Christmas Day, and packages were done, and you know the friends we had over had just left, and so I was just like, let's take a picture, because you know I had just gotten the camera, and for Christmas, and I was like, ooh, let's take a picture, and I got a really, and he was so good. I mean, I could have probably posed him like a diva and he would have stayed. But he was great. He was great. So I know this has been really kind of the cat episode with visits from said Canterbury Tales and talking about all the cats. But I think I'm going to go a little metaphysical on you here. Cats are also thought to be able to see through the veil. And the veil would be between here and the other side, whatever you want to call it, heaven, paradise, whatever, however you choose to refer to it, Valhalla, any of those things, okay? But the veil is kind of like what separates us from here and, all of our little spirit friends on the other side. And I saw Lucas one day, and George was just a kitten, and I saw George kind of coming out of the kitchen, and he was prancing, and there was only one cat in this house that ever pranced, and it was Lucas. And then, I kid you not, it's the first time I ever seen anything like this, and it was wild. I just saw this, it almost looked like cotton, like a bluish tinted cotton, like a light bluish tinted cotton. But when I looked closer, it was a tail. And there was only one cat that had a fluffy tail like that pranced, and that was Lucas. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness. I told older sibling, I said, did you see that? I said, Lucas was just here. And then as I said that, it disappeared, and then George just stopped and then just kind of sat on his, on his butt and just kind of looked around like, wow, what happened to my friend? Where'd he go? So, and then there was another time when Lucas was probably about a year or two old. Lucas looked exactly like Mom Barbara's cat, Kitty Tom. And I know, like Tomcat, but Kitty Tom. And we've seen pictures of him and everything. And I mean, this cat, Lucas, looked exactly like Kitty Tom. So we always joke that Mom took him back, Mom Barbara, which is Laura's mom, older sibling's mom, that she took him back because she just didn't want to share him anymore. But, yeah, oh, she loved that cat. But she taught him how to box. And one day I'm sitting in my chair, and older sibling was watching TV across the room where she sits, and I was just kind of like, look at Lucas. Look at Lucas. He's on the landing. And he was just doing this. He was boxing. But he was looking at somebody. And I was just like, that is amazing. And this actually helped me kind of move into understanding more about the spiritual side, more about the metaphysical side, more about the paranormal side. And, we see movies like Paranormal Activity, you see these ghost movies, you see the movies like The Entity, which is based on a true story. So that's a cautionary tale, okay? Because like I said, there are nasty ones out there, okay? When the majority of them are going to be good ghosts. But you're going to have those ones that are just kind of whatever. So maybe that's what we'll do this week, right? Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to focus on fun metaphysical stuff this week. Ghosts. We'll do a ghost show on Wednesday. And maybe Thursday we'll talk about how misrepresented witches are. I don't know. Whatever we do, we'll do it. We'll do a little bit spiritual. And I know that's kind of out of the realm of what the Aloha Perspective really is, but what is the Aloha Perspective but a perspective, right? So, and these are things that I'm heavily into, things that I understand now that used to scare me, and things that you try to debunk the myths of, and the legends and all the spooky movies that come out and say, oh my God, like Paranormal Activity, but where you're being dragged away. No, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because there have been documented cases where, people have just been straight out ghosted. And I don't mean ghosted like, hi, somebody's ignoring you. I mean what the hell do we do? Because some of them are they're either angry, or they're misunderstood, or they're trying to get your attention, which can become bad. But, so yeah, we'll talk about all those things, and, maybe I'll do some research. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday, so I can do a couple of days worth of research to, try to figure it out, because, we'll go into it, but just as a cautionary tale, or a cautionary warning, all right? Don't try to over-engage something that you're not sure of. All right, just say, okay, I hear you. But if you hear a name, don't necessarily say it out loud. There are a lot of superstitions. Oh, superstitions! That's what we can do this week too. Oh, that'll be fun. I like superstitions. I'm a recovering superstitious person. And by recovering, I mean I'll probably never not be superstitious. But I can't help it. I was raised in the Hawaiian culture, and we are deeply superstitious people. Not to mention, I have some Irish in me, and they're deeply superstitious people. So, and the Scots. I got some Scottish in me too. All the superstitious places. So, I know. You know what? Maybe so Buddy just said we could probably spend a whole week on superstitions. Maybe we'll do that. All right. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to look up superstitions. We'll talk about them, and maybe next week. All right. Maybe we'll just do November as spirituality month or whatever, metaphysical month. You know, because I think this is true. You know, the Aloha Perspective says it's a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything, but I tend to talk about the same things over and over again because I really, really want to advocate as a mental health advocate, because that's very, very important to me. Very important to me. But, you know, sometimes it just needs some fun, right? Like, we need to juice it up a little bit. So yeah, you know what? I told older sibling, I said, I don't know if I want to do a thing on cats today because some people just aren't really into the metaphysical and I don't want to lose people. But then I realized I don't have that many followers anyway. So you know what? Let's just make it fun. Let's just do all kinds of stuff so, you know, everybody feels seen. So if any of you have any recommendations, please share. Sammy, if you have any, you know, legends, if you guys have legends that you know of, or, you know, superstitions that you have, or whatever, just share them with me, okay? Because I think this will be exciting. This would be a lot of fun. And, you know, that's what, okay, now not to sound selfish or anything, but that's kind of what I need right now. I need some fun. I need to break away from all the, you know, just the monotony of doing the same subject over and over and over again, even, you know, from different directions. So I think the Aloha Perspective should live up to its name. A little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. While also advocating, obviously, for mental health. So, you know, I will say this, though. I've had a thought about this from a bazillion years ago. And, you know, I'm one of those people that often think that, because I know I have a spirit guide. And I've had him my whole life. And he's a well-known author. Well, maybe not well-known to everybody, but he's a well-known author. They've made books or movies out of his books. And I mean, even I was kind of like, what? And then I had it verified, you know, and I was just like, whoa. Because even older siblings, like, well, why not? You love to write. Why wouldn't he be your spirit guide? And it's like, I don't know. Because he's well known and I'm not worthy of that? Yeah, I clearly struggle with self-worth. But, but anyway, you know, I do believe, and people call them spirit guides, people call them guardian angels. I think you could have both, because I do believe in angels. You know, I didn't tattoo four of them on my arm because I don't. But, you know, I'm just kind of in this phase in my life where I'm just really kind of settled into my beliefs and I don't really give a shit what other people think about them, you know, because they're mine. I'm not going to push them on you. I'm not going to say, hey, you have to believe this. I will share what I think. I will share what comes to my mind. And if you want to go, hey, that sounds interesting, great. And if you're like, I don't believe that, that's fine too. I'm not here to convince you to believe like I believe. I'm not here to convince you to think like I think. But, like with anybody, I think it's always good that we keep our mind, you know, keep an open mind about different things, because anything is possible. And, you know, we tend to poo-poo the things that we don't believe are possible. So, I am a believer that anything is possible. And, you know, I mean, so I will, you know, until someone can prove to me that it's not, you know, I mean, not prove to me because that's what they think, but actually prove that it's not real, then, okay. Because legends come from somewhere. You know, myths come from somewhere or something. And we spend so much time saying, no, it can't be real. It can't be real, because that's what we're taught. That's what we're raised to believe, and somehow in our subconscious, we pick these things up. Or, you know, I grew up in horror movies, right? My dad loves his horror movies, and he loves his ghosty movies, and he loves his, you know, his B-rated, you know, banned from movie theater movies. And it's just kind of like, You know, and I mean, but I grew up on everything. I grew up on musicals. I grew up on, you know, black and white movies. I grew up on horror movies. I grew up on, you know, modern movies of every era, and, you know, that since I've been alive. And so I grew up with everything, and I love everything. I love Westerns. You know, it's just, but, oh yeah. Okay, so at some point this month we will do one on RSD CRPS, because it is November, and it is that time of the month. It's also pancreatic cancer month, and that managed to get by me. But, you know, maybe we'll mix those into one day or one time. You know, we'll do it. But so good. This is the rest of the month is totally panning out, right? But yeah, I think it's important to know these things and to get to know these things. Pancreatic cancer too. We'll do a little show on that, because I think it's important for people to know the signs. My mother had no history of pancreatic cancer in her family, and now I have to manage my blood tests when my doctor does my, you know, biannual, I don't know. When she does my blood test, we have to check that to make sure I'm okay. So, thanks, Mom. But that being said, yeah, the signs were there, but she didn't know what to look for, and they didn't know what to look for. So it just grew and grew and grew until it took her. And yeah, but anyways, we're going sideways here. So yeah, okay, so I got plans now. I got shows for the rest of the month. Yay! And maybe the rest of December, you know, we'll do stuff. We're going to make the rest of this year just fun. We're going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And if it doesn't stick with you, it's okay. It's okay. But please don't stop watching the Aloha Perspective, because you know what? You never know what you're going to get. I do advocacy stuff. I like to explore legends. Oh, you know what else we can do with legends? There's a lot of legends of Hawaii. My people. But, I know. I say they're my people, but I'm actually more Asian than I am anything else. I mean, it's true. My mother was, Filipino. You know, they're the Southeast Asians. So I have probably about 5% Hawaiian. I actually think I have the same amount of Irish, but I did grow up in the Hawaiian culture. So even though I'm a bloodline Hawaiian, like I mentioned before, when you're born in the United States, or even like, you know, anywhere, right? If you're born in London, you're a Londoner. I think that's what they call you guys, right? I don't know, who am I talking to? I don't even think I know anybody that lives in London. But anyways, they just flew into my head. So, you know, whatever. Or, if you grew up in, like where Sammy grew up in Georgia, or was born in Georgia, she's a Georgian, which gets a little confusing because there is a country name called Georgia. But, or Paris, a Parisian, right? A Californian, or you can go even deeper, and there's Los Angelinos, or San Diegans, San Franciscans, in Hawaii, right? Hawaii, you're a Hawaiian. But they had to differentiate, because there actually is bloodline Hawaiians, which are the ones who are native Hawaiians to the islands long before everybody else came in to settle. So, you know, just like the Native Americans, right? We call them Native Americans, but they could be Native Californians. So they're like bloodline Californians, because they've been here since before the settlers came in. So, you know, but yeah, there's so many superstitions there. And you know what? I know I have some Mexican friends. Please. Okay, I'm going to reach out to some of them, because I want to know what their legends are. We're going to do a legends thing. Legends, myths, and whatever. Because this is going to be fun. This is going to be super fun. So even if you, like I said, even if you don't believe, just come on in. Come on in, take a seat, and just, you know, grab the popcorn, and you can either laugh, or you can be like, whoa, that's pretty cool, but yeah, I don't believe. And that's okay, because like I said, I'm not here to convince you to believe. We're just here to share. And, you know, and even if you don't believe and you're skeptical, if you have something you want to share, please let me know. Let me know in the comments on either Facebook, because this is live on Facebook, or you can let me know on YouTube, or anywhere I share this stuff, or just DM me. Okay, DM me. I share this on Twitter. I share it on Facebook. I share it, and just, you know, put in the notes, you know, just put TAP, you know, the Aloha Perspective, sharing, whatever. But, yeah, I feel like I just opened a can of worms, but DM me. But sometimes, I tell you, sometimes on these newer sites, I get these people that just like to DM me. It's like, oh, would you be my friend? It's like, look, I know you're a fake profile because the minute I turn 50, everyone seems to think that because I'm single, I'm desperate. You know, it does get lonely, but I'm not desperate. All right. And then because these are the scammers, right? And not all of them may be scammers, but you got to kind of discern between them all. But yeah, they're just like, then all of a sudden, if you start talking to them, it's like, oh, well, my family could use some of this, and my family, it's like, no. But I don't even get that far. I just block them. And, and who knows, I might be blocking a legitimate person, but it's always the same verbiage. I tried to friend you. I couldn't. Could you please friend me? Which is bullshit, because I can see who's trying to friend me on Facebook. But like I said, I do keep it closed because it's my family and friends, and friends of friends that I know that I've met along the way. Speaking of which, okay, so since we're just being random here today, I have to tell you, one of my newest Facebook friends is, okay, so in Hawaii, we have the term Hanai, Hanai, and Hanai means, they're like family, but they're not blood related. So like sibling is my Hanai sister. And for us, we're basically just soul sisters because that's how it really feels. It goes deeper than any kind of blood relationship. But she would be considered Hanai family to my whole family because she's adopted family. And, not legally, but she's adopted family. She's Hanai family. So, one of my Hanai cousins, I found, commented, I commented on one of her posts on Facebook. And it's like, la la. And then I saw somebody else on there and I'm like, wait a minute. Because she's friends with a friend of mine from high school. And it's like, wait, how do you two know each other? Am I dreaming this or and they're like older sibling and I, they're like Hanai sisters. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So then her and I became friends. The friend of the Hanai cousin. And I was just like, oh, this world is way too small. But ironically, it happened on the Ninth Island, which is what they consider the Las Vegas, Henderson, Nevada area. They call it the Ninth Island because so many Hawaiians have moved there, or people from Hawaii have moved there. So anyway, all right. Well, okay. So we have shows for the next while. And I'm going to try to make them worthy of you. Okay, I'm going to do my best to make them worthy of you. And by that I mean, and Sammy, maybe you got some stories, right? In Georgia, maybe legends or, God, you grew up right in the middle of the Civil War area. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I meant area. Like, Sammy lives, the march through Atlanta. And I mean, she lives right there where so much history happened. And sorry for the misspoken thing. I meant area. So I tend to stumble over my words. Sometimes I wonder if I have a lisp or a stutter, but very, very light, just enough to kind of throw me. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be legends or stories of all those things. I know that isn't, where is the place? Is it Savannah? That's supposed to be super duper haunted? I don't remember. I want to say it was Savannah. And they have like a cemetery there with a legendary woman and, I'm going to have fun with this. This is my jam. This is my space, my area, my forte. Not too long ago, I watched a documentary on the Highgate vampire. It was good. It was really good. I can't remember where I saw it because it was before I ended up at my dad's, so it was probably last year sometime. But it was the Highgate vampire, and Highgate is a cemetery in England, in London. London? I think it's in London. But yeah, I just found it fascinating. And whether you believe it or not, I found it fascinating because it's like, wow, because it was modern day. It was like the 80s, I think. And I was like, wow, even then? So, stop it. Sammy says, sometimes I feel like I've been alive since the Civil War era. Stop. She says Savannah actually does have haunted history tours and ghost tours. Oh, I want to go there so bad. I just want to go to Georgia because I need to hug Sammy for real. For real. So I've known Muddy since at least 2002, would you say, Muddy? About then. And we have never met in person, but she is one of my nearest, dearest besties. I love her to bits. I love her to bits. And, you know, I've just kind of shuttered myself, and I need to stop, okay? I'm in the second half of my life, and it's got to be better than the first half. It's got to look better than the first half. So anyways, yeah, I mean, that being said, sometimes I feel like I've been alive since the Revolutionary War. Oh, I know, right? Yeah, it has been a long time. And we kind of gathered people. We gathered people along the way, you know? But as far as I know, out of the little tiny group that we have on Facebook, I was her first. That sounds so wrong. That sounds wrong on so many levels. But yeah, I think, and then, you know, because we had a mutual group we belonged to that I think Sammy ran. It was the Gerard Butler group. I know, right? Thank you, Gerard Butler, for bringing us together. I think we've talked about this before, but I love these girls. I love these girls so much. But yeah, even one of our friends lives in England. She moved from Romania to England with her husband and her son. And every time I talk about it, like, well, I'm going to go here, she'll always chime in somewhere in the comments, I'm coming with you. It's like, okay, let's make this a party. All right, let's make this a party. So she's our baby. That one, the one in England, is the baby of our little tiny group. So anyways, you know, you never know what the universe or God or your higher powers are going to throw at you. And sometimes it's just easier to trust it. And you don't necessarily have to just jump in and trust it and believe it. But having an open mind, it can bring you so many different opportunities, so many different experiences, you know, just things that you never really thought of. Because, you know, you're stepping outside your box. You're stepping outside of your routine. And so for the rest of 2025, it's been kind of depending on where you fall, I won't even say the word, but it's been a rough year for a lot of us. It's been a tough year for a lot of us. And I don't just mean, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. But it's been a rough year for a lot of us. And, you know, I'll just say it, politics-wise. And I think we could use some fun. Because I really think that's what's been messing with my mental health. And I think throwing some fun stuff in there will be a great idea. See, she said, absolutely. We have known each other a good bit longer than we have known the others. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's me. But, oh, there's my insecurities again. Like, I'm the first, right? I'm just kidding. I'm getting better at that. But it is weird because I remember but there's never been jealousy. I've loved everybody that came in. One is American who lives in Holland. No, the Netherlands, who lives in the Netherlands now. Another one is on the East Coast. You know, if you really kind of put a line down the world, I'm the one that's the farthest away. All the way over here on the West Coast. But yeah. So anyways, all right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Wait, didn't we already know each other when 9/11 happened? Shit. I think so. I think we met because we both joined a group. Well, you were already in a group. I think I joined your group, your Gerard Butler group, after I saw Dracula 2000. Holy crap, girl. We've known each other almost 25 years. Wow. Because we did know each other when 9/11 happened. Because we were both kind of like, whoa. You know, I mean, yeah. Wow. Boy, time just rolls, doesn't it? Yesterday I was 25, today I'm 52. So, or maybe that was in the mirror. But anyways, giggles galore. So yeah, you know, I don't know who the third person is that's watching, but thank you for sticking with us this long. But yeah, wow. Girl, next year will be like 25 years. So again, thanks, Gerard Butler. We don't know where you are today. Actually, we probably do. Somebody always knows in our group. But yeah, thanks. Thanks for bringing me and Muddy together. So, and yeah, and just as a side note, the reason we call each other Muddy or Mutt Twin or Muddalicious and all this stuff, we were laughing so hard one day because we were sharing our ancestry before they had all the blood DNA stuff, just what we word of mouth from family and parents and all that stuff. And I'm like, geez, I said, you're like a mutt, just like me. I said, we're both mutts. And from that day on, we were mutt twins. And so, yay, we were mutt twins. Because, I mean, we both had like more. We had handfuls. I don't mean handfuls like this, but handfuls. Okay, I know. That just looks wrong, right? I'm getting my mammogram today, so I'm just kind of like, like you needed to know that. But, ta-da! Remember, that's my PSA for today. Get your yearly checks on things you need to get checked. Whether it's your mammogram, your coochie check, or your dude things that you guys got to do, your prostate. I think they call the coochie ones the cervical exams now, instead of the pap smear, because pap smear sounds so horrible, right? They call it a cervical exam now. So get your cervical exams now. Get your prostate checked. Get your colon checked. Get everything checked, all right? I'm over 50 now, but believe it or not, because of the history in my family, I've been doing colonoscopies since I was 40. They're not that bad. People make them sound horrible. And yeah, the cleansing part, not all that great. But hey, you know what? It's good, because if it keeps you alive, that's what matters. It's all right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Muddy, older sibling. Wow, we've known each other. I've known you guys forever, okay? You are just, you know what? You're just my family, and I appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. And one day, great. Now I have that Les Mis song in my head now. One day more. We're going to hug in person. Okay. So anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so, so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves. And yes, I know sometimes the show gets a little personal, but you know what? What do we have to hide, right? I don't know why everybody has to whisper things. This is normal stuff. This is stuff that we do. This is how we stay alive, and I think it's good to add a little bit of humor into it. And, I know that everyone's all like, I don't want to get squished by the mammogram. You know what? Okay, so ladies who have to get mammograms, when I was thinner, I had less boobs than I have now. So it didn't hurt as much. It felt fine. It was okay. As I got older and I gained more weight and got boobs, I was worried, because everybody who has boobs says, it's going to hurt, it's going to this, it's going to that. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, and I do have a high tolerance for pain, but I think the less you fight it and just kind of relax, the easier it turns out. One time I was I was having a bad day and I was really stiff and it hurt a little bit. I'm like, ugh. And the girl reminded me, she's all, just relax. And I think it's also good when you get a good technician. When you have a really good technician, they make it a lot easier. But just, if anybody remembers who Gumby is, remember, he's that little green guy. You can look him up. Gumby was a cartoon, and his little pal Pokey. And they were basically just clay figures, right? And they would pose them. I mean, like when Gumby didn't walk, Gumby slid. All right? He would just put one leg up and go, shoo. But really cute stuff. All right, I love Gumby and Pokey. But I think they were a tad before my time, but I grew up with them, and I love them. But I always tell people, just let them Gumby you, okay? And with some of the technicians, they're younger than me, so it's like, well, just pretend I'm like a doll and just do whatever you got to do, So just go limp. That would be your best bet. Just go limp, all right? And that will make it a little bit easier. And that's the same when you go for your cervical exam. Just go limp. And gentlemen, I know the prostate procedure. I mean, not me, obviously, but I mean, I have guy friends, okay, and they're like, oh my God, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Just relax. Just be chill, relax, because early detection saves lives. All right. So, it was Cousin Jeannie. Our girl. Oh, I like that. I'm all, what? My cousin just put it perfectly. The girls' photo shoot. That's right. They're getting their photo shoot. They're going to be models today. So anyways, Yeah, so I got to go because I got to get to that. And so have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here Wednesday because tomorrow Dad has a doctor's appointment. If by some chance that changes, I will let you all know and I will be on. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun for the next month and a half. You know, we're gonna do fun stuff on the Aloha Perspective, and we're gonna bring in the conversation on all these different things. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. I'll be back here Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. Shelly Marie is one word. Don't let my mom haunt you. And yeah, I share it across the board: YouTube, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter, TikTok. Instagram won't let me upload anymore because, you know, whatever, but you can find me everywhere else. All right. So again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday.